Good evening and welcome to week 3 of the Hamster Decides, hot on the heels of that riveting People's Forum in Rooty Hill earlier tonight.
Yes, an interesting performance from Rudd this evening. Of course, at the last forum, he was accused of being rude to his makeup artist. And look, I for one was pleased to see at tonight's forum that the makeup artist got her revenge.
Yeah.
Never get a makeup artist off side.
No. Of course, going into the debate, Abbott had all the momentum after a very solid performance at his official campaign launch. It was your classic Liberal Party launch, although I've got to say, I thought the pre-launch entertainment was just a little bit racier than usual.
I haven't seen how that excited since the Tampa days. But look, the launch was full of great speeches, except Warren Truss, of course. Even he was starting to question the length his speech was going for.
It's been a long 6 years.
Abbott, by contrast, he was on fire. I mean, it's hard to go wrong when you've got such a warm, supportive crowd. I mean, no matter what you say at these things, you're guaranteed to get applause.
Today, I want to speak directly to you, the Australian people. I make this prediction.
Even if he only said one word.
Well,
extraordinary.
Now, the other thing I always love about these launches is the music. Now,
yes.
Abbott, of course, walked out to a very rousing anthem. So it's going to be interesting, I reckon, to see what song Rudd goes with at the Labor launch on Sunday, because he will not want to repeat the song that he used at the 2007 launch.
Yeah, I seem to remember that Gillard had a really regrettable choice for music for her launch in 2010.
Julia Gillard's a much better candidate for Prime Minister than Tony Abbott. There on my TV. Julia Gillard's a better candidate for Prime Minister. There on my TV. Julia Gillard's moving forward for working families. There on my TV. Shocking me right out of my brain. Shocking me right out of my brain.
People said after that gig he would never get hired again.
Yeah, amazing.
One of the other big talking points at the Liberal launch was the use of the Abbott's daughters, Bridget and Frances, to introduce their father to the stage, which I thought was a nice family touch. Yeah. I thought it was equally lovely when Warren Truss got his daughters to introduce him as well.
Isn't that lovely?
Lovely girls.
You know, they're single too. But I've got to say, overall, I thought the staging of the day was strong. Abbott's always been a master of using strong backdrops to consolidate his message. And you have to say, in fairness, Rudd too chooses backdrops that emphasise his style of leadership.
Yeah. When those photos emerged, the News Limited conducted an incredibly incisive readers' poll asking, should Kevin Rudd be embarrassed by the picture of Hitler behind him? Which was odd, because on closer inspection, that photo was actually just a Daily Telegraph front cover.
Yeah.
Elsewhere on the hustings, Abbott continues to get in hot water over his treatment of women. First, he was calling a candidate hot stuff. Now he's just hitting on everyone he meets.
You were the most popular girl in the place, I suppose, didn't you? Good on you. Well done, Sam.
Yeah, good on you, Sam, for putting up with that sexual predator. Tell you what, the guy is on heat. Did you see who he tried to pick up the other day?
Oh. And that's just the photo we can show you in this time slot. You don't want to see the other ones. I mean, take it from Kevin Rudd.
I've seen the pictures. They turn your stomach.
They're good.
Well, I do think Kevin Rudd did his best to raise the tone when he gave a key speech yesterday at the Lowy Institute, and he started off, of course, by discussing the economy.
The truth is, no economy is an island.
Which is a shame, because if it was an island, he could send another 30,000 refugees to be detained there.
But the main point of the speech was to look concerned and statesmanlike while discussing the escalating troubles in Syria. And when I say statesmanlike, I mean wearing his Broncos tracksuit while telephoning the US president.
Yes, I know a lot of people thought it was inappropriate attire for high-level diplomacy, but I thought it was absolutely fine compared to what Obama was wearing during that conversation. Yeah. Not to be outdone in the toughness department, Abbott dropped a big policy bombshell this week when he announced that the coalition will stop people smuggling by buying back all of Indonesia's boats.
Now, no, I mean, I have no idea what we're going to do with them all. All I can say is that next year's Sydney to Hobart race is going to be a lot more crowded. Abbott makes no apology for his tough stance on boat people. So whether it's buying boats, mandatory detention, it's all on the table. although he has ruled out one extreme measure.
We do not want to lock up our oceans.
Which must come as a huge relief to the Indian Ocean, which feared it was going to be locked up indefinitely on Manus Island.
Yes, the Rudd camp, meantime, is sticking by its PNG solution, out of sight, out of mind. It's what the electorate wants. And with Rudd behind in the polls, maybe he could use PNG to solve a few more of his problems.
Ah, Papua New Guinea, the place where we solve problems.
I feel as if I'm here among friends.
Australia's problems.
What do you think of Australia sending all our refugees to Papua New Guinea?
So why should we take on Australia's problems?
Because we're good friends.
Good friends in what way?
We've already got our own internal problems here because Papua New Guinea, we have had issues of refugees coming in from West Papua.
You know what you should do with your refugee problem? You should find a small Pacific island and promise them some money and ship them over there.
People of PNG don't seem to be happy about solving Australia's problems. Lucky they don't get any say in it.
Because if Kevin Rudd is going to win, he needs a quick fix for other political problems.
Do you think we could have all of our gay marriages done in Papua New Guinea and married gay people could live here?
No. What if they have to get our people involved into the gay business? And I'm very worried because the women won't like it.
You're on board the gay village, yay! Gay marriage?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
That would be so good to send gay marriages in Papua New Guinea.
I think you're the very person who's happy. Gay marriages here, what do you reckon?
Oh, well,
Yeah, they're going to be killed in Papua New Guinea.
They'll be killed?
Hmm, that's right. Papua New Guinea isn't the safest place to send people to. The Australian government pays G4S millions of dollars for security on Manus Island. And you can see why. Maybe they could help out.
We're just here to turn G4S into the gay district. No one's talked to you about the gay district yet? No. I thought you'd got the memo. That was why this was here. You'd started the work. We really want G4S on this job because they've obviously got great security. Yeah. I mean, not just anyone can walk in here.
Rudd's next problem, News Limited.
Could we move the News Limited newspapers over here, all the journalists, and put them in Papua New Guinea?
Are they gay, the journalists?
No, they're not gay.
The editor of The Australian can live here. Rising sea levels don't affect him.
What about if I was to throw in a little aid package?
What? Aussie dollars?
So you're not bribable?
Oh, no, definitely not.
Who got this lady? She's useless. She doesn't take money.
Useless?
Hey, we can even send our bogans here.
But there is one problem that Australia has that is far greater than any other.
What about our Ashes cricket team? Can we send them to Papua New Guinea? Because they're a big problem for us as well.
Well, are they gay people?
No, they're not.
Well, why do you want to send them to PNG? What sort of embarrassment do they cause?
They keep losing to the British.
Well, if they can come and train our boys to become good cricketers...
They can't train them to become good cricketers.
Just fucking hopeless.
Can we send our cricket team over here? They're rubbish. You don't want our cricket team. No, I understand.
Definitely, we should.
You'll take our Ashes cricket team? That is very good of you. There you go. That's a hospital.
Okay.
Oh, you understand? Hospital.
I think you can send a Queensland Maroons team here.
I don't want to get rid of them. They're the ones that can play. What about if we send the New South Wales Blues over here? Do you take cash?
Can you put Prime Minister O'Neill's name on it and send
Prime
it to him?
Minister O'Neill?
Yep.
Just send it straight
and
to
say,
him?
love from Kevin Rudd.
So I went straight to the Prime Minister's house.
This pala country emi stap inside long lewa.
And used my in-depth knowledge of the local language.
Hello. Ime Pigse Prime Minister Pay? Pigeon. Prime Minister's office? Is the Prime Minister here for me?
No, he's not.
Oh. Language of Australia.
No, he still wasn't.
We are willing to help in any regional issues in Papua New Guinea. Of course, we have to play our part, but we can't break our constitution.
Really? What do we have to pay to change your constitution?
450 million Australian dollars.
Yes. This is really adding up.
Yes.
Ah! Sorry, Kevin, I tried.
Welcome to Inside the Wheel, and this week we're going to take a look at the economy.
Yeah, look, the economy is an extremely complex thing, of course. That's why before experts comment on fiscal reports, they need to take time to absorb all the facts and figures.
And I'm just printing it out right now as it comes through. What are the basics that you can see there so far?
Well, Joe, just having made it through page 1 of this extensive document, I haven't had a chance to read through the rest of it just yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously you can't spend too long on these things. ABC's even introduced the same urgency into the book club.
Now, hot off the presses, the new Christos Tsiolkas book. What do you think, Chris?
Well, from the first page, it certainly looks like a novel.
Okay, now, there are a lot of disputes about the state of the economy. Now, there's the Liberal Party's view.
We are in an economic crisis at the moment.
And then there's the Liberal Party's view.
We didn't say the economy is in crisis.
No, but crisis is pretty much the only word Hockey didn't use.
Penny Wong has been the worst finance minister Australia has ever had. Kim Carr is the worst industry minister Australia has ever had.
Tim O'Maddock is the worst judge Australia's Got Talent has ever had.
It's got to the point where Hockey's own driver can't stand listening to him anymore.
Oh, it's more Kevin Rudd fluff. Come on. I mean, he's just going to make this up just before an election.
Are we really as bad off as Hockey would suggest? As recently as May, Ross Greenwood was saying this.
These economic conditions haven't been this good for almost 30 years.
Then again, Ross Greenwood was also saying this.
What's that?
So you might want a second opinion.
Well, good or bad, the one thing that everyone agrees on is that a strong economy needs lots of pillars.
We also want to see a 5-pillar economy.
We're going to base this on 3 pillars,
Okay.
on 7 strong pillars, further regional pillars.
Although the precise number of pillars required is a source of confusion.
Our 4-pillar plan for the economy.
I thought you had a 5-pillar plan.
It's a 5-pillar economy.
Oh, hang on, it's a 5-pillar economy and a 4-point plan.
Yeah, that's right.
Lots of pillars are involved. That's the lesson, and that's why Greece is doing so well.
That's where the agreement ends and the coalition's critique begins, because fairly and squarely they're focusing on the budget.
Yes, I mean, I think the budget is fine.
Yeah, it's fine for you, Hanson. You clearly don't read Liberal press releases, though, because they reveal the true budget victims.
Labour's budgeting chaos abandons Antarctica.
So on the one hand, you've got the economically gloomy Penguin, and on the other hand, you've got chipper Ross Greenwood, who says this.
We can afford the debt we're in.
Yeah, then again, Ross Greenwood also says this. What is going on with that guy? I use him as my accountant, and the meetings are not very efficient. Can we please get back to my boss?
But despite the calls for calm and dancing, Joe Hockey is very worried about our debt.
We left the country with net assets of $70 billion, where if we are elected on the 7th of September, we inherit debt going to $400 billion.
Which is very concerning that figure is net assets and that figure is gross debt.
You see, net is not gross. I mean, that is so dishonest. It's like comparing apples and oranges, or like comparing net hockey with gross hockey. Hey, gross hockey! Stop eating our fruit metaphor.
Even so, Labor have racked up a lot of debt, and they've got their own set of bodgy numbers too, like this $70 billion black hole they keep saying the Liberals have.
Yeah, which Saul Eslake and PolitiFact both say is completely wrong.
Yeah, well, but how do you expect Labor to get billions of dollars right? I mean, just listen to this Labor person for a second.
Unlike the Liberal Party that has just a 3-word slogan, turn round the votes.
Now, she's talking about 3-word slogans, right? Count them again.
Turn round the votes.
They can't count to 4! They're useless!
Well, look, what I don't understand is why these Labor innumerates keep saying that the coalition have got their numbers wrong.
We have released the most comprehensive analysis of a political party's costings and policies ever.
You see, the coalition, they are beyond reproach. Sorry. Oh, that clip was from 2010 when the coalition turned out to be $11 billion off and the two accountants they used got fined for breaching professional standards. But apart from that, their costings were very comprehensive.
They were very good apart from that. Well, at least they were better than my accountant. But regardless of whether the coalition have their numbers right or not, their message is surely correct. We are spending too much money. Listen to Liberal pundits like Ross Cameron, for instance, who say we need
a significantly lower set of expectations from people about what they get from government.
Yes, people expect less spending from government. Now, that is why all of Ross Cameron's policy proposals are so frugal, like building a second Sydney Harbour Bridge.
I am advocating that we go and manufacture a brand new bridge, exactly the same design and optical profiling. We then float that structure in. We erect it in the same way with hydraulic lifts on pontoons in the middle of the harbour. Having done that, we disassemble that bridge. We then take the son of Sydney Harbour Bridge and slide it across on permanent foundation bearings and just click it into the original alignment.
Hello, loony bin.
Wow, what savings, Andrew!
Oh, it's not just a second harbour bridge that'll save us money, Chaz. No, there are other thrifty ideas floating around from Liberal pollies too.
We have seen unprecedented waste and reckless spending. In fact, one thing we probably should look at if we're in government is have a museum of Labor government waste.
See, that is what we need to build. A giant museum of Labor government waste. That will remind people not to waste money.
Yes, Ross Cameron wants to build a second one right next to it.
Well, I'm not sure Tony Abbott's on board with either of those proposals. He's a bit keener on making cuts. But don't worry, he'll be gentle.
We're not going to chloroform the economy.
That's extremely reassuring. It's a great choice of words, I think, to put people at ease.
Hi. I'm not going to chloroform you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Works every time, works like a charm, you know. And that Abbott obviously thought he was onto a winner with this whole creepy chloroform thing.
Chloroform's economy, you only have to look at some countries overseas to see what happens when you chloroform the economy.
But Labor, on the other hand, they have a very different economic focus. They're focused on jobs and growth.
Sorry?
Jobs and growth.
What? Jobs and growth. Yeah, OK. Well, look, if Labor's worried about jobs, they don't need to waste billions on creating them. There's already enough jobs for everyone. It's just that Tony Abbott keeps taking them all.
No, let that man be Prime Minister, for God's sake, and then he can stop moonlighting as a barista/scientist/car maker/shearer/fishmonger/carpenter/bricklayer/shelf stacker/carrot bagger/onion inspector.
That's a lot of jobs. And if that doesn't get the economy back in shape, then there's one easy, cheap solution.
Yes, just build a second Australia right next to the current one. On pillars. Thank you.
We've got to have the right policies, not the wrong policies.
The right spending, not the wrong spending.
We've got to have a smart response, not a dumb response. The right way, not the wrong way.
It's week 3 of the show, Craig, and it's usually about this time in the campaign when the candidates start to go a little bit stir-crazy. So, as if right on cue, this week we got the bizarre image of Clive Palmer twerking.
Look away!
Ooh. And if that wasn't weird enough, Julian Assange appeared in a music clip singing along to a John Farnham song.
So with the ongoing circus, it's understandable that so many voters switch off. But just how switched off are they?
In an election when there's never been more coverage and info across all media, we hit the streets to get a read on the electorate's level of engagement.
How would you rate Malcolm Turnbull's performance as opposition leader?
Well, he's not the opposition leader.
No, I don't like him. Why not?
He's weak. He's got no power.
Shit, mate. No way. Go for John Howard.
Go for Howard?
Yeah.
How would you rate Andrew Peacock's performance at the moment?
Nah, mate. Nah.
What's he done wrong?
Mate, he's not helping the government, mate. If anything, he's running us down to the floor.
Last name says it all, don't you reckon?
Bit of a P. John Gordon, do you think he's doing a good job?
Not too bad.
I don't like him.
He's doing shit, mate.
Why?
Stuffing all the government's up.
Should Australia undertake federation?
Yes.
Why?
I think we should. It's about time.
I think we're right as we are.
Too soon? Yes. Do you agree Sir Henry Parkes is having a bad campaign so far?
He's an old Prime Minister of Australia, though. A lot of people have turned against him, I think. I'm not sure whether he'll turn back the votes or not.
Out of 10, 6.
6 out of 100.
85.
1,000?
800.
1 million? Too much.
Too much.
What about decimal currency? Do you think we should introduce decimal currency?
No, we don't need that.
Why not?
It's working, it's not broken, why fix it?
Decimal currency. We're talking about, oh, shit, you're getting a bit out of my league there. That's mathematics.
Well, it's easily understood, isn't it?
Because that's too hard to understand.
Do you think Billy Hughes should challenge Kevin Rudd for the Labor leadership?
Why not? Why not? Because Ruddy's, he's fucked up so many times.
No. Why not?
Because they're both hopeless.
Why do you think Rudd is a better option than Hughes?
He can relate to the young people better.
Why is that?
Because he's an idiot.
Yeah, no chance.
No chance? Why not?
Because he's weak, mate. His case is weak.
Why is he weak?
Because Kevin Rudd, he's the man.
He's the man?
Yeah, he's doing the right thing.
Okay.
Supporting Australia. You know what I mean? He's doing the right thing. Mate, this is it. This is Australia. We love it.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure why you're asking whether Billy Hughes, who was also dead, should be challenging Kevin Rudd for leadership. Kevin Rudd is the worst Prime Minister in the history of this country.
Okay.
And if you're going to ask puerile questions, I'll move on. I'm sure this is some sort of push polling by the ABC, which is blatantly the ALP marketing arm. So goodbye.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summary.
Stop the boats, stop the guns, stop the deaths, stop the stunts, stop the brains.
Are there any questions without notice?
Please welcome to Question Time Green Senator Sarah Hanson-Young.
Sarah Hanson-Young, a do-good, a greenie. I've never seen a green not wearing a beanie. Sarah Hanson-Young, a do-good, a greenie. Shocking me right out of my brain. Shocking me right out of my brain.
See? Sarah Hanson-Young, your question time starts now. What are you talking about in this clip?
I remember my first time. Excitement, terror.
Is it A, the first time you challenged Christine Mills' leadership? Or B, the first time you saw this?
That's the man that should be running the country.
You know what? The best thing is, this election, you can make sure you don't wake up with regrets.
I thought you were going to say Clive Palmer, but I'll give you that one. Okay. All right, complete this sentence. The Greens' credibility on economic policy is blank.
Awesome. Bloody awesome.
Sorry, the sentence was complete. The Greens' credibility on economic policy is blank. I was like, my mistake. All right, true or false? This is the launch of the Greens' education policy.
Wow. Pigtails looked really good back then.
False. Okay. Right, okay. Okay, when Kevin Rudd announced the PNG solution, you said this.
This seems to be going back to the days of John Howard.
It is. It's Back to the Future.
Now, in Back to the Future, Marty McFly uses a DeLorean time machine to go back from 1985 to 1955 to invent rock and roll and make his parents fall in love. How is the PNG solution like that?
Let's think. Do you remember that scene where the car got stuck in the tree and just languished there?
Mm-hmm. That's an admirable attempt. I would have accepted not at all, really.
Not at all, really, OK.
OK, the Greens recently announced a $550 million policy on rural mental health. Under that plan, what percentage of those funds will be spent on this man?
We'll thrash and mash them. We'll bash and mash them.
An awful lot, I'd reckon.
And I think you're probably a bit short still. But that's all we have time for. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Sarah Hanson-Young.
Parochialism. Australia is big. It's made up of Queensland and Western Sydney. And they both demand to be sucked up to.
If you're from Queensland, you rule!
At least for 7 weeks.
So to capitalise on that unswerving loyalty, politicians must all be from Queensland, even if they're not.
On this particular subject, I'm very proud and very pleased to be far more of a Queenslander than Kevin Rudd will ever be.
They also have to be from Western Sydney.
And it all starts in Western Sydney.
This is the heartland of the modern Liberal Party.
Actual heartland, Labor, 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 Labor.
No matter how tenuous the connection.
The Prime Minister gets Western Sydney. She's from Western Melbourne.
Of course, Julia Gillard really got Westness. She lives west of somewhere, and she loves eating John West tuna while listening to Westlife next to a poster of Mae West.
Meanwhile, Polly's unlucky enough to live in other compass directions get parochial with sport.
You can never look too stupid while supporting a sports team.
Actually, you can. Put your hand up here, anyone who happens to be a Maroon supporter.
And put your hand up here, anyone who happens to find me convincing.
Kevin Rudd even made some Maroons jerseys. A decision that proved unfortunate for the people who wore them.
Hey, that's Kevin Rudd! Just get him! And who else would a man raised in Belgium who now lives in Perth support than a rugby league team from Penrith?
It's great to be at this venue where the mighty Penrith Panthers defeated the Warriors 62-6 by a massive 62-6.
And all of Belgium is right behind him.
More dedicated politicians drop the sport and go directly to brown nosing.
Okay, Abbott's going to Mackay. What's good about it? Birthplace of Delbene Delaney. Okay.
Okay, it's got the second biggest big banana after Coffs Harbour.
Getting there. Got it!
I'm making the announcement here in Mackay because it is the first major city you get to above the Tropic of Capricorn.
If only other cities could boast such merits.
Visit Gay Paris, the first major city you get to above the 48th degree of latitude.
And if you really want to fawn over a marginal seat, you need to move the whole government there.
Julia Gillard will govern the country from Western Sydney next week, taking up residence in a hotel room in the suburb of Rooty Hill.
Call it a shameless bid to win votes in Sydney's West.
OK, we will. It's a shameless bid to win votes in Sydney's West.
Visiting Western Sydney is all very well, but you need to do it a lot more than once.
The next item is this beautiful seat in Western Sydney. Do I hear a visit?
I've been a very regular traveller to Western Sydney. Sometimes I've come out for one meeting.
Thank you, madam. Any advance on one meeting?
Sometimes I've come for half a day.
We have half a day. Half a day. Do I hear a whole day?
I was out western suburbs of Sydney yesterday.
Come on, ladies and gentlemen, this is an outstanding seat deserving of a grovel.
Been to all those communities out there in Western Sydney 20 plus times.
Now the bidding's underway at 20 visits to Western Sydney. Do I hear 21?
Tony was out there 40 times.
40 visits. Thank you. An incredible level of condescension.
Tony Abbott's been to Western Sydney for 47 days.
I think this is my 49th or 50th trip out to Western Sydney.
50 desperate visits. Last bids at 50 visits.
He basically lives in Western Sydney.
Tony Abbott has moved to Western Sydney. Sold.
Western Sydney? Last week he was from Queensland. The only way to win this election is to be from both.
I'm the candidate for Western Sydney and Queensland.
Anyway, it's not just Tony Abbott who's had to move to Western Sydney. The media have had to move there as well, with mixed results.
There's loud results.
This, of course, is a divisive issue on both sides and one that Kevin Rudd himself has personally changed his mind on in recent months. However, that still raises some questions for the coalition as
Cooney
well.
results.
The opposition's
narrowly avoiding being run over results.
behind the economy. What are voters telling you about the coalition's policy on asylum seekers, particularly the effort to ramp up capacity on Nauru?
So I missed the last bit because of the bus.
And no results at all.
We've had the same team.
I'm sorry, we seem to have lost Michael Rowland there.
But why fixate on Queensland and Penrith train station when you can cover all bases with mindless Aussie jingoism? Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!
They say patriotism is the last refuge of the scoundrel, but it's the first refuge of the nincompoop.
I'm standing as an Australian. I'm standing as a citizen of this country. That's what I'm standing for.
Clive will definitely win, as long as no other Australians run in this election. Oh,
right. Being Australian is good. You don't even need to fund your campaign with money.
It's a massive operation. How are you funding it? Is that out of your own pocket as well?
It's out of love. Love of the Australian people.
Unfortunately, Love didn't pay for Clive's flyers, so he printed them in China instead.
Visit the Great Wall of China.
The first Great Wall you'll get to east of the 117th degree of longitude.
But amongst all this jingoism and jerseys and moving Parliament to various suburbs, there is one thing we can all agree on.
This is probably the best country in the world.
Probably the best. It's the first country you get to after the 43rd degree of latitude.
Look, that is just about all we have time for tonight, but to take us out, a bit of a special treat. Emo and the Wipeouts been working all week on a special new song which he'd like to perform for you.
Thankfully, we don't have time for it.
So good night. Catch you next week.
Does this theatre smell of sperm to you?
Stop the boats.